how has this shelter-in-place order influenced the way we're going to experience theater in the future? To talk more about this, we have today on the show 3 board members of the Olympia Little Theater, Kendra Malm, Toni Holm, and Andrea Weston-Smart. Well, hi everybody. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks
Hello.
for having us.
So what has changed in your routine as a theater group because of the stay-at-home order?
Well, first of all, there's no one actually at the theater, so that is kind of a difference here because usually we have so much going on. For our board, we've been having conference calls for our board meetings. We did have to cancel half of a season. We will be talking about that as well. And we're just kind of playing it by ear to see where we're going to go from here.
And are you doing anything right now to engage with the public while the theater's closed? Like online or anything like that?
Well, I manage the Facebook page. I am the publicities coordinator at OLT. And so what I've been trying to do is reshare our photos from the past, our past productions, because we had just celebrated our 80th season when this happened. And so I reshare the photos, hashtagging it 80 years at OLT. And also we try to keep the public informed in general as much as we can. We put out a press release regarding the COVID-19 situation and how we're handling it. And we just put out a press release regarding the BLM matters.
Yeah, and obviously there's no progress because we're in stage 2 necessarily. You can't really open a theater in stage 2. You're looking at like stage 4 or 5 or 6 or something way in the future. Am I right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're looking at possibly being able to hold auditions and possibly rehearsals during stage 3, but we wouldn't be able to open until at least stage 4. And we're still trying to decide whether we can open with social distancing measures in place, whether that is going to be cost effective for us, having that very much smaller audience, and whether it makes sense for us to go through the cost of a production with that small of an audience.
Mm-hmm. Like maybe blocking off every other chair, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. We have 108 seats in our theater normally. And so that, unless there are groups of 4 or 5 that are all together, that's going to be a lot of empty seats. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, we redid our theater ceiling and remodeled a few years ago, and we put an HVAC system that's probably a more effective one than the traditional one. If you think a soaker hose rather than a hose with vents in it, it's a much more efficient air cleaning system, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, and then I guess the other thing is if you are reducing the amount of people in the audience, you'll probably have to just do more productions or just more showings, more, runs of the show. Am I right? Is that kind of where you're at?
That's a possibility. I mean, there are so many unknowns at this point. I think it's difficult for anyone, particularly entertainment venues, to have any real clue what we'll be able to do and how our patrons will feel about it. Even if it's legal for groups of 100 to gather, will people feel comfortable coming back to the theater? That's something we're all struggling with. We hope they will. Mm-hmm. The rights companies have not announced rights for live streaming for very many plays so far. That's an issue for doing anything other than an in-person performance. We hope that they'll get with the program and do more of that.
Yeah, because, okay, so you can't do things online because of the licensing you have with the productions, with the plays and the playwrights.
That's very much in transition.
Yeah. Well, since you're closed, is this giving you any opportunities to renovate or do changes to the physical space? What kind of things are going on right now?
Our board is going in, board members are going in. We have one board member AM and every PM, going in and inspecting, making sure the facility is okay, doing a little cleaning up, working on the parking lot, the bushes, just generally doing things of that sort. Maintenance.
Gotcha. Okay.
We did a big
And
remodel over the last 5 years. We've remodeled our ceiling in our theater. We remodeled the bathrooms and all these things. So the physical plant is in pretty good shape.
So you're like, well, we don't need to do any of that. We just did it.
exactly.
Did you have a production going when everything shut down and that you had to cancel?
We were just about ready to open a production. So it had been in rehearsals. We were creeping up on Tech Week and opening week when it all started basically coming apart. And it was something we were trying to deal with practically on a daily basis, with things changing. Okay, are we going to have an audience? Are we actually going to have actors, or who is going to drop out? So we had actors dropping out, we had crew members dropping out. So we were looking at, okay, can we postpone it till the end of the season and do it in June or July? And it just ended up making sense to cancel that production, and then basically the next week to cancel the rest of the season.
It was
Wow.
a sad night that The Young, the Bold, and the Murdered was in rehearsal in the theater, and the board was meeting in the lobby, and we talked about it, and we all agreed it wasn't safe to go forward for everyone. And in a very sad move, we, as socially distant as possible, moved all the furniture off the set with the cast and gave each other virtual hugs and said goodbye.
I'm sure that was a sad day for everybody involved in that production. You work so hard and then you can't even have the reward of performing.
But Kendra can tell you what we did about it.
Tell us what you did about it.
We also happened to be at that time working on our plans for next season, so that our following season wasn't set. So we said, we will hold a place for that production and for any of the actors that want to redo that production. So we're going to remount it with as many of the actors, with the director, with as much of the crew as possible, basically in the same slot as this season. So we just basically moved it a season back.
And in
So-
March of 2021, we should see the production, and the director in the meantime had a baby.
Yeah, but that was another whole thing going on during the time. She was very pregnant during the time leading up.
So, and that name of that production again, it was The Big, the Bold, what
The
was it?
Young, the Bold, and the Murdered.
The Young, the Bold, and the Murdered. Okay, so that will be next March
Actually,
of 2021.
Actually, it's the bold, the young, and the murdered.
The Bold,
I'm
the
sorry.
Young, and the
Thank you,
Murdered
Andrea.
next March. People should put on their calendars and, well, we hope, right? We hope that it will be performed next March. We don't know, do we? There's so
No,
many
we
question
don't.
marks. Mm-hmm.
And we set into motion the plans for the rest of the season. So not only are we hoping to relaunch Bold, Young, and the Murdered, but every other show that we have chosen for our season, which ideally would start in October.
Yeah.
Andrea, do you want to go over what the list of the plays are for him?
Actually, yeah, or actually Kendra, I think she's better versed in that right now.
Okay.
Yes, I do. Okay. So normally we do 7 shows a year. That's what we've been doing for the past several years now. We couldn't get the rights to our original opening show, which is in September. So we decided, well, let's just not do an opening show. So we're planning on 6 shows this year. It will open up in October with The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. And I'm thinking that we could actually have all the cast members wear masks for that one, and it would work. Then for our Christmas show is Inspecting Carol. Then following that is The Originals, which is an original play by a local playwright, which had done a production last year at the Olympia Airport, which was really well received, and we wanted to bring that into our space. And so we're really excited about that one.
The projection is about women who flew airplanes during World War II and were very unrecognized for it.
Oh, well, that's cool that that was at the airport. How fitting.
Mhm. Yes. And then after that should be Bold, Young, and Murdered, correct? Or am I skipping one?
That is correct.
Bold, Young, and Murdered. And that one is actually a murder mystery set on a daytime soap opera where the actors start getting killed off. So that one is really going to be interesting. And then following that is Tiny Beautiful Things, which was one we've been trying to get the rights for several years. So that was kind of one that was already on our set list, which is about a person who starts an advice column online and gets involved with all the different people who are writing into her for advice.
It's Cheryl Strayed's story, and it was adapted by Nina Varlos, who wrote My Big Fat Greek Wedding and stuff, and she adapted it for the stage from Cheryl Strayed. It's a real life person's book, and Cheryl had taken on an advice column called Dear Sugar, and it involves the various letters she gets and her responses.
Mm-hmm. And that is directed by Toni Holm, of course. So that's why she kind of bumped up with that.
I had to jump in with it.
And then the last show of the season is the Director's Choice Show, which is Life is Complicated, which is an original that I myself have written and will be directing, about a 40-something woman who starts a relationship with a younger man, and then her mother comes along and reveals something about her past that she didn't want revealed, which causes a whole lot of complications.
And this was a play we had done in a stage reading before. It was very well received, and Kendra has made updates to it, and we're going to do it as a full production.
Nice. Well, so when you have actors in these plays, how do you find them? How do they find you? How do you have auditions? I mean, obviously it's different now, but in normal times.
Olympia Little Theater has a policy of having open auditions and not pre-casting shows unless that's required for the show in some particular way. And we hold open auditions and invite people to come in and audition from them and select from that pool.
So you have your own auditions. Do you have it annually for the season, or do you have several auditions throughout the year?
Several throughout the year. It's based on the play. It's based on the director when they want to have auditions. We will post it online on our website, olympialittletheater.org. We post on our Facebook page, and it's open to all.
Excellent.
But generally what we do is cold readings from the play and have everyone come in and we mix them up. Although each director has discretion to change that. So some directors like to have them come in with monologues and things like that. Other directors like to have appointments
To watch them.
individuals. Right. So
each director sets up their own auditions. I mean, one of the missions of Olympia Little Theater is accessible theater, accessible to everybody, to make it affordable so people can see live theater, and also to make it accessible to people who want to volunteer and be involved in producing and directing and acting in live theater, getting involved behind the scenes. It's one of our missions to keep it available. So this might be somebody who went on in their life and became an engineer but was a fabulous actor when they were 20. It might be somebody who's a fabulous actor who's 20 now who's trying to get started. It might be somebody who's done hundreds of productions who's really intrigued by the production or the particular play. It tends to go all over the map. Mm-hmm. But like I said, one of our goals is accessibility and bringing theater to everybody. And that's why we keep our theater ticket prices low.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, so I hear that you need actors, you need volunteers, you probably need donations, right? You are a nonprofit, right?
We are.
And so
501c3 nonprofit.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure that everybody can get in contact with you on all those, any of those three things through your website, olympialittletheater.org. Is that right? Did I say it right?
That is correct.
Okay. So
and
there's a donate button
on the front page.
Okay. Well, good. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you guys would like to share?
I mean, I think one of the things about our theater has been in operation since 1939.
Wow.
We just celebrated our 80th season.
It
Excuse
is.
me there. Andrea's going to have to correct me all the details because I'm bad at them. Anyway, and we have had a loyal followership of season ticket holders and then individual people who come in just for a single play. And one of the things that's wonderful is when we had to cancel the show is a significant number of people said, I don't want a refund, keep my money, make it a donation to your theater to help your theater survive this. And a number of people showed the faith of saying, you know, I will just take tickets for next year. I'll trade in and I know you'll be back. And that's been a really wonderful vote of confidence, I guess, from our patrons.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. So you didn't have to issue a bunch of refunds. Maybe a few, but not a lot.
Not as many as we expected.
And we are a 100% volunteer organization. So we have one paid office manager and a cleaning lady. And those are the only people that we actually pay. All of our actors, all of our directors, all of our backstage people, all of the board members. We are 100% volunteer. We do this because we love theater.
Mm-hmm.
We love doing it. We love presenting it. We think it is a very important part of our society that we can present the live theater that people can come to and laugh, cry, learn something. It's just such an important part of our community.
I keep talking about accessibility, but I think that's, to me, one of the things that's very important about this theater is sometimes people come to plays. I mean, many people are regular playgoers many places, but for some people, it's their first actual experience with live theater. And I think live theater has value and meaning in people's lives. And it's wonderful to be able to bring people in and they go, wow, I've never seen anything like that before. I just heard about plays, or they did one in my high school. And for people to be able to afford to come to a theater and see live theater and see the productions in person is really a precious thing.
And how about you, Andrea? Do you have any final thoughts?
Along with everyone else, the reason why I got into theater is because you can be someone else and bring joy to the audience and bring a story to them that would resonate with them. And that's why I love working at OLT and being part of the troupe, is because I can do this without worry about, oh, you know, I have to, it's not a job for me. Mm-hmm. It's not a job for me at all. And started out as an actor and then getting to work on the board and work behind the scenes and really putting it all together just to bring entertainment to you guys.
Excellent.
And Andrea and all the board members put in many hours as if they were staff at the theater. And it is truly, I think, a labor of love for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, and people out there watching, they may have talents that they didn't realize that you need. Set builders, you know, crew. They may think that, oh, I'm not an actor, they don't need me. But you have all kinds of opportunities. You have taking tickets, I'm sure, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. That's the way many people get involved for the first time at the theater. They come and they volunteer to take tickets, and they get free tickets to see future shows. And they go, I'd be interested in who runs the lights, who makes the sounds happen.
Yeah.
Who dresses all those people, all those costume changes? You know, I always was curious how people did X, Y, Z, and it's a great opportunity to get involved and learn how to do all those things and be part of the group that provides it.
Yeah, so many different volunteer opportunities available in community theater.
And there's also a link on our webpage for that.
Okay, yes, and go to the website, olympialittletheater.org. So thank you for taking the time to be with us today, and hang in there. Hope you're back soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To learn more about auditions, volunteer opportunities, and how to donate, please visit their website at olympialittletheater.org or call 360-786-9484. That's all we have for you today. Tune in next time for more updates. Again, if you have any questions or suggestions for something we should cover, send an email to rkam@tcmedia.org. Stay home, stay updated with Thurston Community Media, and stay safe, Thurston County.